And there we are. So we are ready to now start the Zoom recording.
Mm-hmm.
Recording in progress.
And feel free to stop it when we're done, okay?
Okay, I'll try and remember.
No, I'll remind you.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Today is Monday, December 15th, 2025. Welcome to the Ali Musa Show. This is, of course, the show where we discuss what's going on in the world of sports, our favorite sports teams, our sports media, our broadcasting, our news and politics. You know, there's never a shortage of conversations here. And, of course, we are part of the Musa Slobodian Network. Well, joining us here is it's time to discuss all things news and maybe some technology as well with Becky Coles. You can find her at BeckyColes.com. Almost said the AliMusaShow.ca. Well, I guess we can find you there, can't we?
Yeah, find me anywhere.
There you go. Well, thank you once again, as always, for taking some time this afternoon.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure we had a visit in before Christmas.
Absolutely, we did. And we made it happen.
Mm-hmm.
So let's actually start here. What is going on these days in the world of news? Now, if we're looking at that Bill Kelly video that we talked about last week,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like what he's saying actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, you know what I like about Bill Kelly is that, first of all, he's very smart.
Yep.
He also can explain it in a way that that we all can understand at whatever level, which I really appreciate, because sometimes there's a lot of stuff going on, especially this video that we're talking about, where he's really getting into some heavy stuff, but he can explain it in a way that you go, oh, okay, yeah, now I understand it, at least enough to form my own opinion. But I think he was so dead on with a lot of what he said. And it amazes me how people are still willing to put their heads in the sand when it comes to what's going on between Canada and the US. No matter what side of that you're on, I think people are just willing to go, oh no, everything, it's going to happen the way it happens. Everything's fine. And it's like, you got to pay a little bit more attention.
So with what he's so basically, kind of to paraphrase, and you can kind of correct me if I kind of missed anything of it, but just for the listeners here, out there in listener land, that basically what he was saying, that Canada's that everything basically what his administration, the Trump administration, wants to do is going to do, because it's apparently documented according to Bill, that they want to sort of have everything controlled by the U.S.
Yeah, I think that's a short summary of it, but I think that's in that what was it, over 30-page document that he read, and he said people should read it, not just trust what the media is saying. And I think he really hit it dead on, which was Canadian media aren't talking about it. They're not, which is a big problem. And this is why people like Bill were great when they were on traditional media, because at least somebody was talking about it. But now we don't even have Bill on traditional media talking about it. And he's still talking about it. I just mean on more traditional media. But I think what he's saying is it's not a this isn't like dreaming, fantasizing, oh, this might happen. It's like, no, this is the plan. Will it actually happen? Bill's pretty convinced it will. I'm still on that. Well, hold on, we'll see, because they always seem to have a bright, shiny new idea. So I don't know. But I think it's pretty laid out really well in that document. So I think people need to pay more attention to it and not just think, oh, it's some guy scrawling on something with this coloring book. Like, they need to give a little bit more credit to that administration that this is an actual plan.
Sure, but I mean, you're still sort of, but like, and the reality also is, and also the way Bill so eloquently put it, is that he doesn't care about Trump and nor his people care about sovereignty. It means nothing to them.
Yeah, you're right. They just want the resources, right? They don't,
exactly.
They're not worried about the other stuff.
No, and that's it. Why do you think why do you think he went over? Why do you think they went over and attacked Venezuela? Just so they can have the resources.
Yeah. And I think that's where I was saying, people are just, oh, well, it'll never actually happen. Or, and it's like, well, okay, he's making moves. He just hasn't come for our resources yet. And so I think people need to be, it's time to take those rose colored glasses off, right? We need to take this more seriously and I guess demand that the government, so the Carney government, is actually working on things. Now, we don't know what they're working on. Maybe they are working on things in the background, but we only see a sliver of what's happening. And so it feels like you don't know what's happening. You don't know what's in the works. So you think that it's just human nature to assume if you see nothing, then there's inaction.
Well, yes, and I mean, some people are disappointed with how Carney's dealing with Trump. But here's the thing: he has no choice but to deal with them in the way that he's dealing with them.
Yeah, I think we've seen what happens when you try to deal with him another way, when you air commercials that make him mad. So I think Carney, and it's really easy for us to sit there and say, oh, he should be handling it this way. And it's like he has as much of the details as possible. And so he has way more knowledge than we do. And I would trust whoever's in charge to be handling it the way they feel they need to. And I think Carney's handling it the only way that's possible, which is just trying to not make things worse at this point and seeing how we cannot antagonize any further. But I don't know, maybe that's just me.
But here's the thing, but the other side of it, there, even as Bill so eloquently put it, and I agree with it, and I'm going to say it here, that there will be no deal between Canada and the U.S. There will be no deal.
No, and I think every time people talk about that, it's a distraction. It's a distraction from actually just making some sort of I don't even know what the right word is, but decision or line in the sand. And I think every time we discuss that, it's like you're missing what we need to do, which is just make a decision for us, what's right for us, not what's right for everybody else. Because they're going to do what they're going to do down there. We can't do anything about it.
And also, according to Nancy Pelosi, who was one of the House speakers at one point, don't know if she still is, but she feels that the Democrats should not impeach Trump.
Yeah, and I find all that fascinating because it's just every time people think they got him, then someone says, "No, well, we shouldn't go after him." It's like, well, okay, you're talking to someone who's obviously also trying to play a game, right? Like Nancy Pelosi is no different than anybody else. She's just trying to play that game.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the other sides of it also becomes, though, too, that also if you look at the courts and what in the Supreme Court, and Bill has also said this, that there is no Supreme Court right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. He did say that.
And there isn't. It's because they are doing they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing in the Supreme Court. They're doing what he wants them to do, or not him necessarily, but the people around him.
And I think that's what people in general need to get through their heads about what's going on in the US is it's not one person. It's a whole team around that person. And that person is the spokesperson. He happens to be the person that's saying all the things, but he has a group of people around him that are commanding things. And it's like air traffic control in there where they're sending people this way and that way and trying to get things done that they want to get done or not get done, depending on what that happens to be.
And let's be honest, his whole thing about fentanyl and things like it's sorry to say it, but it's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lie.
Yeah.
He's using it's being used as a lie just so that an attack can be done to get the resources. Now, look at what happened. I mean, look at what happened on the weekend. Look at that. Look at all the look at all the shootings and things that happened on the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It's honestly a direct result of that administration's doing. People don't like this. What's happening?
No, and it's like you look at Australia where it was like a Hanukkah celebration, and then you look at what happened at Brown University, and we still don't, as far as I know, we still don't really know what happened there. But even like the death of Rob Reiner, where it's just like there's this continued hatred that's building and building and building. And for him to come out and say, well, it's because of Trump derangement syndrome. People are shocked that he would say that. And I'm like, are you though? Because this is feeding into his group of people and what he wants to push. And so this is his way to go, see, this is why we do this. This is why we do that. This is why we go after this. So, I think no one should be surprised that he said something like that. Like, I just think it's, the Republicans that are in power right now have an agenda, and they're working on pushing whatever that is through. And that's why I always say, whenever there's something interesting going on where you're like, well, that's not really like the Republicans to do that. It's like, well, no, because they're doing something else that we're not talking about. So we need to wonder, like, what's happening when we're not hearing about that?
But what about now? See, but what's going to be the end of this? Like, what's like kind of looking at a long shot? There are a couple of things that could happen.
Yeah, I don't know. For other podcasts, I've interviewed a few high up people in the U.S., not about government, but it comes up. And they have said, like, this could be another civil war. Like, this is where it's going. You've got families against families and just such a huge division in the U.S. And do I think it'll go the way that the first Civil War went? I don't know, but it's a scary thought for me to think that a country could become so divided that that's where it would go.
Okay, but what do you think would happen if it goes into a civil war? What do you think would happen? What do you feel would happen?
Oh, I don't know. I've never thought about it past that point to go, okay, well, it is possible, but I hope not.
I hope not either, but
it's just scary. And I think we will get dragged into that because we're right there. We're the neighbor. And I think, especially when you have dual citizens on both sides, because that's a whole nother thing, right? Like, they're trying to say, if you're a dual citizen, you have to pick. You have to be American or you can't have your American citizenship. And I know why they would say that, but I also think they're not prepared for where that could take things with families, right? Because I think what they're going to have to say is, okay, well, if the mother is dual citizen and everyone else in the family is not American, you're going to have to be prepared for her to say, I choose America and my family's coming with me. Like, I think that's what they're not thinking about. They're not thinking that far down. And that's just a small part of it. But I think you'll have people that say, well, I don't want to be American, and they'll leave. But then you'll have people that say, no, I believe in this and I'm going to stay. And like I say, their whole family is staying with them. And so I don't think they've thought about that. But it's going to take so long for that to go through the House anyway, that I don't think it's ever going to become a thing. But if the Civil War does kind of happen and it's a more extreme way, well, then, yeah, maybe that does become a thing because you have enough power there to push it through. So, but I don't, I don't know if it becomes a civil war. I'm not sure. What about you?
No, I agree with you in that, but I mean, I do, because I think what might, like, see, but here's what I think people don't understand. Like, some people think that just somehow getting Trump out is going to solve things, but it won't.
No, there's lots of people that feel the same way as him. There's lots of people that pretend to feel the same way, but then there's a lot of people that truly believe the same. So they're still going to be there. You can get rid of him, but you still have Vance. You still have other people.
Yeah, that's
we
it.
don't even know their names yet that are going to say, like, yeah, I'm all for this. Let's just continue the charge.
Well, that's it, right? Like, that's kind of unless somehow, And look at the Epstein Files thing. Look at that. That's
Isn't that
also one of
crazy?
those things, too, where I think they're going to hide some things just so that he can stay in power.
Yeah, this whole Epstein thing is like, it makes me laugh. It shouldn't make me laugh, but it makes me laugh because people go, "Oh, I can't wait to see." And then this stuff kind of comes out, but kind of not. And then all of a sudden it goes away because we focus on something else. And um, I just think it's a great example of how people think they're gonna get him on something, and it's like, no, like a picture came out and that's it, and like everything else is redacted, so we can't do anything about it. But um, I've never seen someone where so many times people thought they had him on something and then nothing happened.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But, like, I mean, and also Caroline Levitt as well,
Hmm.
who's also one of those.
Yeah, they have a whole crew of people down there that are just going to continue this charge. Um, so as much as everyone says, well, the big one's got to go, well, yeah, but he's got a huge army behind him that'll just keep going. So, and I don't know how you force a radical change of that many people to get them out of there. That's harder to do.
I mean, I think it could be done.
Oh, for sure. I just think it's not as you and I have agree on it. It's not that simple to get rid of the one. The whole kingdom isn't going to crumble because one guy leaves.
But you know what? But here's the thing, though, Becky. His health also isn't great if you look at it.
Hmm.
Trump's health is not great either.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're hiding. I think they're trying to hide a lot, and that's why, um, like you can tell he's reading a lot more. Like he's always reading off of notes, but you can tell he's doing that a lot more. And I don't know. Are they just trying to get him as close to the 4 years as possible, and then Vance takes over? I don't know.
Well, that's it, right? And how are but like that's what I'm feeling is gonna like, and there will be no midterms, to be honest with you.
Hmm. Yeah, you're right.
Not according to Ted, but but even Bill said it, and I agree with him. There will be no midterms,
Yep.
and that's what he's and I don't know, and I think and he did a show also. Quote: Will Trump create a crisis so he can stay in power? Quote. Which
Yeah.
the
You and I
signs are
talked
there.
about that.
They're already doing it.
Yep. And you see that a lot, right? Every time we think, okay, things are kind of calming down, and then something happens. And so I was thinking of that TV show Scandal, which I didn't watch when it first came out, but I watched it fairly recently because everyone said, "Oh, you'll love it." And like obviously, it's what Hollywood thinks happens in Washington, but some of the stuff where they create scenarios and create things, like we would be very naive to assume that that it all is by chance and nothing is planned. I think we'd all be very naive human beings to think that, oh, it just happened. What weird timing. Really? Is it weird timing? Probably not.
But see, I'm sort of really thinking at a bit of a bigger picture too. Like,
Hmm.
what and what's going to happen to us in Canada? I mean, is he? Are they really going to annex us and make us the 51st state? I still don't feel that. I don't believe that that's going to happen. But
No, I think it's a scare tactic. I think they know to annex us is so not as easy as it sounds. And so I think they're just using it to try and get whatever they can, like a reaction, but also whatever they want out of us. And we'll still be sitting here as Canada. But again, maybe I'm the naive one. I don't know.
okay, but what if it does? Like, what if it does happen?
I don't know. And I don't think what are you already are seeing friction between Canadians and Americans. And I think if that was to happen, it would get exponentially worse. I think the same thing. It would go to tearing families apart and tearing friendships apart. And you're already kind of seeing that. So I think if something like that was forced, but I also don't know. I don't know how we as a country react to that. I have no idea. That's
but
for the
here's, I
smarter
mean,
people
you
in
know
the
what the
room.
other, yeah, I know. But I think the other side of it is that there will, like, see, I remember I had this conversation with someone, and they said, no, that the person said, quote, oh, well, no, like, if that were to happen, or if it does, before any annexation happens, there'll be war first.
Hmm. But is Canada able to even, like, we have a powerful military, but not that powerful. So I don't know.
Like, and you see what Carney's sort of doing is, making it, is trying to create, deals with, is creating deals with other countries. But according to Bill again, that the U.S. the Trump administration is gonna punish Canada for that.
Yeah, and I think that's a more realistic view of where things are probably going to go. Is it's like, okay, well, you made a deal with this country, you made a deal with this group, like that's a problem. But I also think we can't sit here and wait 2, 3, 4 years to figure out what's going on with the US when we need resources of our own. We need to make deals. So what are we supposed to do about it?
And here's the thing, and Polyev isn't going to be lasting very long either because he's facing a leadership review and people want him out.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Like you and I have kind of talked about this before, but for someone that on the onset seemed like such a good choice, he's really just fallen out of favor with everybody. And I don't know what happened.
Oh, he has.
Do you think it was
Definitely.
one thing, or do you think it was just collectively everyone just said, I don't know, this isn't what we thought we were getting when we bought it.
I think it was a mix of both. I think it was a mix of both.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've actually had someone on here that knows him, actually.
Oh, okay.
I have. And but then again, that's one of those things, right? Which we'll talk about it off air, but
Yeah. Well, and I think it's all how you know the person. I might know someone in a certain way and say, yeah, they're fine. And then off the air, you'll say, well, I'm not going to vote for them, but they're fine. Or this is publicly what I'll say about them, but behind the scenes, I might say something else. And it's not you're being disingenuous. You're just saying, well, that really doesn't matter for the sake of this conversation. But,
sure.
I think it's important for Canadians to know why he's fallen out of favor.
Sure,
We
I
don't need
agree
all
with that. Yeah.
the gory details, but for people that have voted for him or not voted for him, it would be good for people to know, oh, that's why. Okay, well, yeah, that's an issue or whatever. I don't care. I'm not concerned about that, but I think we should be making those decisions with as much knowledge as possible.
Yep. And I mean, I think what happens though is that I think they don't like him because of the Trump style policies.
Yeah, it's a turnoff, that's for sure. If you already are not pleased with what's happening and the influence, and then you see stuff like that and you think, well, we don't need more of that. We need less of that. That's a good point.
And look at how many people have crossed.
I know. What's that about?
And I'm not surprised.
No, and I think it's people that no one so far has it been a bombshell, but I think it's people that are like, oh well, I don't know if I would have thought that was the first or second person to go.
And they're only one seat shy of a majority now.
I know.
Which is
Isn't that scary?
Well, it could happen even before the holidays.
Yeah, and I say that's scary because it's that easy. Like, it's like I'm not saying it's scary because oh no, now they'll have a majority. It's just it could happen before Christmas. And then what are we going to do? Because then whoever takes over, like then for sure Polyev's gone. And then it's okay, now they got to worry about that. And now maybe with that extra strength, Carney can get more done. I'm not sure, but I just think But things have changed very quickly because of the people crossing.
Yeah, and we were talking about the books panel off air a while back there. Just well, and in Bill C-15, I don't know if you saw. Actually, it did make some news. It did. It was on the. It did actually make news on the major publications. Actually, that there is a piece in Bill C-15. There is a piece in there that what they want, that would kind of repeal the end of the free literature or free matter for the blind.
Ah, okay.
I don't know if you saw it, but there was a. Like I feel like the issue here is that the government's just looking to cut in situations where they is just kind of cutting where they, or is trying to where they really shouldn't be cutting.
Yeah, I don't know why of all the things they're going after that. I really don't.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me. And like, I get it. Where do you cut? Like, how do you decide? But I just think that was one where it felt like a throwaway cut where Canadians just doing that, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but that's kind of where things are kind of going, right? With why they want to do it and who are they trying to please?